Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Pat with Like Attracts Like Evolution, and today we are going to be talking about 2 reasons we find ourselves repeating our past and what it is that we can do to reconcile our sense of self in the moment we are in so that we align with greater access to infinite intelligence so you can be led step by step to what is meant for you. So the first reason we are going to talk about as to why we continue to repeat our past is because we are identifying our sense of self with our past. We developed something along the way called a personal mind. It's the story of you that you can refer to yourself as when you think of yourself from past experiences. Anything that is developed inside of the narrative that is talking in your ear all of the time, giving you the playback for how you are viewing your reality and the meaning you are giving your reality comes from your perception of yourself from your past. So if there are parts of our past that we don't like, if there's parts that we wish we could redo, if there's parts of our experience in those moments that don't represent the best of who we know we are, we will focus our valuable attention on them. So we're bringing past moments into a current moment, and the only moment you can create in or co-create in or with is the current moment. So you're using a current moment to recreate what you're focusing on, which is a past moment. The glue, if you will, that holds us bound to those past moments is typically found inside of guilt and shame. Something we are ashamed of, something we feel guilty about, something we are scared of. And all of those emotions are generated by this personal mind and sense of self when we don't feel connected to our source, when we don't feel that we actually are the truth of who we are, aligned with what we came to do, then it will generate the emotion from that appearance of disconnect, which is typically fear. We fear the unknown instead of realizing that we are one with it. And in the fear that that separate character has, it goes about its business kind of projecting that fear onto the screen of reality, perceiving reality as we perceive our sense of self. So the way to break these patterns, and sometimes we find that life does this for us, if we aren't willing to do it ourselves, is we become hyper aware of where we're giving our power away, where we are coming from a position of lack, creating an experience that the best version of us would never create or find themselves inside of. So when you can realize that we are giving our attention to something from our past that we haven't yet found perspective on, and reality is using itself and you as a mirror so that you can see what higher perspectives exist. Where can we shift how we are viewing at what we are experiencing or perceiving our past as? Can we shift in our ability to comprehend a different level of what happened and then use that to know ourselves more deeply? The more you are able to align with letting go of the past as being something positive or negative for you, then the less of a hold it will have on you, the less you will be giving your valuable attention to it, trying to resolve it or change it in some way. Surrendering to it allows you to sit in the moment you are in, where you will have access to the higher guidance that you are actually one with. The second reason I want to talk about as far as why we continue to repeat our past actually has less to do with our experience of the past and more to do with what happens if you are actually one of the humans who can resolve your past. I work with many human beings who have actually found perspective on these traumatic experiences, on their past moments. There is a place and a state of being where we have resolved all of the, if you will, conscious examples of things that we are unhappy with in our past. We really truly can find a perspective. And even if we don't understand, we can understand that we don't understand. And sometimes that's understanding enough to find peace. So sometimes when a human transitions into this middle ground even of being balanced in the moment that they are in, ego, the personal mind, can creep up in a new way, and it will try to project itself, yourself, into the future. And it will say things like, But how long do you think this will last? But how are you going to plan? How are you going to create? How will you pay your bills? What happens tomorrow? What happens next week? What happens next month? As far out as you want to project it as this identity we're attached to can project along with us. So sometimes people actually do the work to transcend their past. They find themselves in the moment that they are in. And because it can be so, from this vantage point, scary to trust enough to follow that guidance every single moment, we fall back into our old patterns of unconsciousness, which we are outlining or defining as our sense of self from the past. So they're kind of all working together in this weird dance to keep you away from the moment you're in. So the answer that can be found within you is understanding, resolving your past allows you to be still and present in the moment. You'll find your balance, you'll find your source, you'll find your power. When the ego comes in to try to convince you that this is not enough, because it's so used to getting validation from the external world, when it's really trying to talk you out of that source within you, that state of being primary, do your best in that moment to observe that voice, to listen to it without any meaning, without any purpose. It is equally not true as the voice of your past trying to pull you back there. The more you can sit in that place of knowing that you are the source of this and your state of being and awareness is primary, then you will maintain that connection to you as your source. You will be able to follow step by step the guidance to what it is you are here to do. Your inner purpose is defined by you, and it is something that requires practice. We're all here, I believe, to do that. So the more you allow yourself the space in the moment to release yourself from the past, be very, very present and observe what's happening. Ask yourself, what is your relationship to what's happening? And how can you know yourself more deeply because of it and project a more positive, loving, peaceful, balanced version of you onto this screen? Then, when the voice comes in to sabotage you, saying, how long can you do this? Or when will this go away? Or is this how it's supposed to be? It doesn't make sense. Don't listen to that voice. And the longer you can not listen to or take direction from that voice, you'll be showing that you know for yourself that you are the source, and therefore you will transition between time in general. There will be no past. There will be no future. You will make all choices in the moment. You will receive in the moment. You will plan in the moment. It will be an unfolding instead of a conscious, anxious, fear-based need to manipulate reality to get or feel the way you think you need to be or feel. So do your best to remember, there is nothing that you cannot find perspective on from your past experiences. All of them are leading you to exactly who you are, doing exactly what you are doing, so that you can transcend those and find peace and balance in the moment that you are in. As you find peace and balance in the moment that you are in, know that ego will try to forecast what happens next. The longer you can allow yourself to stay balanced and present in the moment, you will follow the steps to that unfolding without needing to feel fearful or anxious because of it. And that is what I wish for each and every single one of you. Thank you again for joining me on this video. I will see you next time. Have an amazing day, a wonderful night. Peace.